Welcome to Beauty Business Matters. I'm your host, Susan Routledge, and I am here today with Tessa Stevens from Tessa Stevens Health and Beauty Clinic, which is a multi-award-winning clinic and salon. And funny enough, I was just at an award ceremony the other day where Tessa picked up yet another award. So there's just so much to learn from Tessa. She is absolutely amazing at what she does. And I'm just so privileged that she's taken time out to come and be a guest. So welcome, Tessa.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So happy to be here.
I've watched your business over the years because you've just done some amazing things. But then obviously it was last year, I think, when you joined Beauty Directors Club, and it's great to get to know closer what you're doing, and it's just, as I say, in awe of everything that you're doing. So 20 years ago nearly you started.
Yeah, so it's our 19th year this year, and we're going to be celebrating our 20th next year. We're so excited. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, we've been talking about what we want to do for some of our clients that have been with us since day one. We would like to have a nice intimate dinner with some of those special clients. So I've asked the team to maybe select some people that they can. And we thought it would be nice just to take them out just for a dinner, nothing else, just to say thank you for sticking by us through thick and thin. And then we wanted to have a big event day as well to celebrate, an open day where it's free flowing for everybody. And also I was thinking about changing our logo a little bit to put the 20-year symbol in there, to add that into all of our marketing and our socials for next year. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of planning.
So when is the anniversary?
September 2027.
Oh, so yeah. But the time flies over so fast.
Yeah, and there's a lot of planning, and you need to budget for these things as well. So yeah, we do need to be really arranging things from now. Definitely not leave it till next year.
Because as I say, the time goes over so fast. So let's step back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, were you in the industry before you opened the clinic?
Yeah, so I've been in the beauty industry for 30 years. So I started beauty college when I was 18 and did my level 2, level 3, which most of us used to do back then. Yeah. And when I had to do my work experience, I did my work experience at Pamela Stevens.
Fabulous,
in North London. She had 15 clinics then. And they offered me to come back as a junior. And that's what I did. So I went back as a junior after my work experience. And once my qualification had come to an end, I then started there full time.
So is that relative, or is it just...
Yeah, so I worked for Pam for 15 years and then she retired.
Yeah.
And she sold her group onto a chain back then, which isn't around anymore, called Renew Medica. So overnight they had 30 clinics. They had Pam's 15 branches and their own branches as well. Yeah. And I worked with them for about a year, but that was 19 years ago, and it was all about aesthetics then. It was just coming into the market, lasers and all of that. And it was what I was about. I loved beauty. I loved that personal touch. And I worked with them for about a year. And I decided it wasn't for me. Yeah. So I decided to open my own clinic, and Pam said to me, why don't you just use the Stevens name, because you'll just hit the ground running, because there's so many Stevens clients all over North London and you'll just, do really well from it. So with her permission, I took her surname for the business, and it really helped.
Because when Renew Medica was there, someone who used to work for me as a therapist, then she moved down to London. She ended up being one of the key people in that business to start with. So I got to go and have a look around and things. It was at that time, it was a big jump to go straight into the aesthetic side. Yeah, where now obviously it's just so mainstream and things. But so you opened your clinic.
Yes.
Salon.
Yes.
Sorry. So has it grown in size, or have you kept it the same size? Or?
We actually started off with one clinic, and there was just 6 staff when we first opened. And then about 2 years later, we opened a second branch. And then we literally within 2 years had 25 staff. And I did that for about 10 to 11 years. And then I just felt that my daughter came along, and I'd done it for 10 or 11 years, and I wanted to slow down, and I wanted just focus on one clinic, and the industry was changing.
Yeah.
Things were turning more towards machine-based work, and, they were very expensive to cover those costs in 2 branches. So I decided to close my initial branch that I had, the first one, and we all moved into 1 branch. And that was in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how big's the team now?
So now there's just 12 of us because I've come from 25. So there's 12 of us now. Yeah. And because the year that we closed the Enfield branch, like 8 months later, COVID happened, the pandemic happened. So we were really fortunate that we did that actually. But yeah, there's 12 of us now, and we're actually at the original Pamela Stevens branch that I used to manage 20 years ago. It was a Renew Medica branch, and they got in touch with me to say that it wasn't working out. They were closing, and did I want to take the premises over? So it was lovely. It was going from home to home. So it was really nice. Yeah.
And with that, you'd also gained a lot of clients from there
got so many of our clients from before, and obviously new clients all the time as well. Yeah, but we have got clients that have been with us for 30 years from the start of my journey.
I know, it's so lovely, isn't it? Because my clinic, it's like 38 years since I started.
Amazing.
And the thing is that you sort of see the next generations coming through.
Yeah. You see your clients' children coming through, and sometimes even their husbands, So yeah, you see the whole family, which is lovely.
But I do love as well, because when you see clients who have been on a journey and stuck to the maintenance of that treatment, the difference in how their skin has aged.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's wonderful
it's just
to see.
It's
like being part of a special club.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. But as well, it gives you such a sense of pride, doesn't it? That, that you've helped someone to maintain that appearance and look so good.
Yeah, it's like you've coached them through the best skin of their life, really.
Yeah. And quite often you've coached them through so many other things as well by that time as well.
Absolutely.
So obviously when you first started, was it very much like beauty that you were doing, as in the nails, wax and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So our service menu was all beauty treatment. So manicures, pedicures. We never really was doing gels back then. That came later on. We was doing a lot of body scrubs, body wraps, spray tans, massage galore, aromatherapy, lots of waxing, no lasers, all of those types of treatments. Some lashes, but not like the lashes were done now. It was like the strip lashes.
Yeah.
And that was our service menu, and it was wonderful and it was great. But things evolved, like manicures and pedicures went on to gels.
Yeah.
We started to introduce some machinery into the clinic. We had the Ionzyme machine from Environ, the KC machine, and those types of treatments. So the industry was moving, but you still had your traditional treatments there, and people still wanted that hands-on touch, which they still do. I strongly believe that they still do.
So have you found that sort of the nail side, everything like that, still a big part of your business?
So no, we really pivoted in the pandemic. We obviously had 9 months off of work because we were closed for 9 months, and we had to really think about, actually it's a great time to reflect on what we're doing that's right and what's working and what isn't, and which way the industry is going. So we completely pivoted and changed our business during that period. So we don't do manicures or pedicures anymore. We don't do massage anymore. Our focus now is just skin. We do some waxing treatments, and we do some lashes, like some lash lifting and tinting. But we mainly do hair removal, like laser, lots and lots of electrolysis and lots of advanced electrolysis. And we've also introduced in the DMK alkaline service, which is absolutely brilliant. If you do electrolysis and you take a client to a certain point, it's a wonderful, successful treatment to offer alongside that. So we've only done that in the last few years. But we are just our main focus now is skin.
Did you find that you lost clients and through the taking out sort of the nail services and everything, or did clients just pivot into another and still come?
We found that the clients that just came for nails, we lost them. Some of them came back because they had that trust and that association with
Yeah.
our brand there. And when they were interested in skin, we was the door that they'd knock on. So we saw people come back gently and slowly, not straight away. And some people were using us for skin anyway, and for nails. So we lost them obviously to nails. They went somewhere else, or for massage, but they still stayed with us for the skin services. And we picked up so many new clients, so many new clients, which was great.
Yeah, because the thing is that obviously, I mean, there's so many different business models in our industry. And this is what I absolutely love, where someone can take just one element of the industry, say nails, lashes, and turn that into an entire business. But the nail industry has notoriously always been one of those things where there is a cap on how much you can generate from it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the thing is, whereas with skincare,
you can grow.
There's so many different avenues you can go down, so much more scope. And we all love skin. We have a passion for it. So because you can grow so much with that, it's great that the team have that passion, because you're wanting more all the time. You just have to be careful because there's so many silly trends out there, and you just have to be so careful of that and not get involved in it really, and just stay in your lane. It is. I mean, it does get more and more difficult because clients are on the internet all the time doing their research, whether it's right, wrong, and so you do have to really have that level of expertise now. You do really have to be the oracle kind of thing because clients are using AI and all sorts of different things.
And I do really empathise with them, because they are the most marketed generation ever. They could go just pick up their phone, and within 20 minutes they may have had 20 or 30 things fired at them from all their different platforms, let alone friends and family telling them about something new that they're using. So I do empathise with them, because they do get so confused. They'll come in and they'll be really overwhelmed, especially if they want to treat a certain skin concern, like say for example rosacea, and they're looking for the answer themselves, and they may have invested money or time and hit a brick wall. So by the time they come to you, they don't trust you. They don't know anything about you, and what you're saying to them, they're not really sure if they want to do it, because they've already invested time and money elsewhere. So you do have a really hard job in the room now, because you're trying to rebuild that trust, get your expertise across. But what we always say to the team is educate them.
Yes,
that's the main thing. Just educate them, empower them with the right information about their skin, because then they'll make the right choices easily. So they're paying for that time, paying for that consultation, so give them all the education that they need, really, and then you find that the trust comes through.
Yeah, totally. And so which are the main brands that you specialize in?
So we actually work with a lot of brands, because I find that one size doesn't fit all.
Well, this is it. I think you have hero products in each range, don't you, really? Where, you can't just have one thing that covers everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with the Bargy, Illumia, MD, Environ, Advanced Nutrition, Jane Ardell, DMK, and Dermavigils.
Nice.
So they're our main brands that we work with, and that our clients normally are using at home. We're using in clinic, and we find that, as you said, those hero products are in those brands as well.
That also leads to a lot of training, though.
Yeah, it does.
Which then obviously a lot of expense in a business. And obviously that is something that you really, really heavily invest in.
Yeah, we do. And I come from a training background, so when I started beauty, I think it was about 5 or 6 years into my career, I went back and did my teaching degree. I did my PGC in teaching, and then I went and taught at Hertford Regional College in Ware, and taught beauty therapy there for a few years, part-time, and I was still working at PAMS as well at the same time. But I love teaching and I love training. It's something that I find is really important, and I think you just can't get the best out of your team unless you're invested in them. So you have to do that. And the great thing that's happened since the pandemic is now that we have all of these online training portals. All of our brands have academies online with on-demand training. So if they forgot something, they can just go back and watch a short video. Everything's so much more accessible. Whether we like it or not, it is the way forward with training. So that helps to cut down the cost because you're not releasing your team out of the clinic for days on end. You know, they can sort of like go online and do things online as well, which helps.
Yeah, because it's by the time you're sending someone away for 5 days, it's just such an expense. And, you know, but now, I mean, love it or like you say, I think that's one of the good, there was so many good things. And obviously it was a very traumatic time in so many ways when we went into lockdown, but it gave you that time to like stop and breathe. And from that, things like online training, good online training has come around, where before it would have been interesting to see how long it would have taken for that to happen otherwise, because it was like it had to happen then, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think because we're hands-on therapists, we love being with people, and when people show us directions or education, we want to get our hands on and do it, you know. So we're all like that. That's in us. So it was really alien to then go watch a video and see how it's done. But from a business point of view, if you can say to your team, actually, we can do 1 hour refresher training online today with a brand manager, that's great. Rather than all having to go down to the academy, you know, it's just great that we can do that. So we do use that for refresher training. We do use that for new brands or new launches that have come out. And we also have one of our team members, Nicole, who is our training educational manager at the clinic. So she would deal with the brands when something new comes in or if there's a new service, and then she will filter that through to the team. So we have her there to support us as well, which is really helpful.
So you are the one who still makes the decision on brands, or do you find that it's one of your team will maybe find something, or
we all collectively talk together. At the moment there's a machine that we're looking at that the team have told me about, so we're looking at that, and we're actually going to go and look at the launch next week in 2 weeks time in London. So I do take that on board, but we are such a slow burner at taking on anything new in the clinic because as you know, our clients have been with us for either even a year or 30 years. They really trust us. And if I bring on something new, I need the team to walk into the room with absolute confidence that what they're going to be promoting and asking that client to use, they are confident with. So we really take things on very slowly. So with the DMK, that was our most recent launch that we took on. We did all the online training, which was, I think, like 40 hours in lockdown. Then we did 2 years of case studies on clients with the alkaline treatment to make sure we were absolutely 100% happy with it. And then we only launched it, I think it was a year or year and a half ago. But the team then are walking through to the room. They're really confident. The product is, you know, being used by the clients. We're getting the results. And it works, rather than, you know, being not sure whether with this product or treatment that you've just learned actually is going to work. We've done it on abundance of case studies, so we know that it works. So for me, I feel that you have to, if you've got a brand, you really have to have that trust behind it. You know,
totally. And again, you know, there's so many brands out there. You have to really, really do your research. You know, there's some great brands out there, but it's not necessarily right for your business. So it's finding what exactly fits your business and fits your clients,
and
isn't
you also need the support from that brand. Like, what if something goes wrong? How are you going to be there to support us? What are you going to do? You know, who is our brand manager that we're going to be dealing with? Those are all other questions that I always ask. Like, what's the journey after we've taken that brand on? What role do you play in that? Apart from the opening order, you know, what else does that include?
Oh my God, it's the support that you need. And I always like to say that with the brands that, you know, that there's brands out there that have been there for so long and so trusted that, it's great. But again, some great new ones coming on board as well. So that's what I love. The industry is just
so exciting,
ever evolving. So can I just ask you, Tessa, about recruitment then? Because you know, you hear in the industry, there's no good therapists out there. I firmly believe that there's great people out there. How do you find it?
So we've been very blessed. We haven't recruited any new staff in, I think it's 6 years now. And out of the 12 people that I work with, I've worked with most of them for years and years and years. So, for example, Melanie, who I've worked with her for 30 years. She was my area manager at Pamela Stevens, so she's come with me. Rose, who joined us in the last 3 years, she worked at Pamela Stevens. She was a clinic owner in Holborn. She's joined our team. Grace and has been with me for 18 years. Cara's been with me for 17 years. So we're very, very blessed. We've got staff that have been there for a very, very long time. We don't really lose staff. And I was in that when I had 2 clinics and I had 25 staff, it was a high turnover of staff. It was really hard to look after a lot of people like that. And I probably didn't give them the attention that they needed. And I realised that. Then my daughter came along and I realised actually I can't give these staff the attention they needed and my family life, and something's got to give. And then when we got smaller, I was able to do that. And the more I've looked after the team, the less staff we have lost. So I do hear that there are no good therapists out there. And I do hear that the recruitment process is a nightmare, but we are very blessed and we haven't been affected by that, thankfully.
But, I think I think a lot of times someone struggles for getting someone new because they're not clear enough on what they want. I think if you're really, really clear on who you want, it's rather than just putting out for anybody.
I think people get desperate, and that's why they do that. They're at the point where they're turning clients away and they are just looking for anybody. But you need to look at how's that person going to fit into our bit of the jigsaw puzzle. It's like adopting someone, really, isn't it? I know. You're bringing them into your family.
But very much like you. I mean, we didn't lose anyone to any other business for over 25 years.
That's amazing.
And and we have a team where we've worked with them for years as well. And it's nice because clients have that relationship as well. And I think it's our responsibility as employers to be able to make sure that we're looking after our teams so that they want to stay.
And they're happy at work.
Totally. So obviously your time yourself, how do you manage that? Because obviously you've got a lot of hats going on in that business. And
so again, after the pandemic, we reduced our hours at work. So we closed on a Monday. We never used to be closed on a Monday. We'd work till 8:00 from Monday to Friday, and we reduced our opening hours. So we close at 6:00. We do 2 late nights a week, 1 at 7 and 1 at 8. And we close at 5 on a Saturday. So we really reduced our opening hours. So having the clinic closed on a Monday is really helpful because there isn't any activity from the team or from our office, which means that I can, do things that I need to do where the clinic needs me, or the behind the scenes stuff that I really want to focus on. And we have an office team that take care of things for us. And as I said, I have Nicole, who is in charge of training and development. And then we have Grace, who's been with me for 18 years, I think, or 19. And she helps with the team's targets and their retail figures and their treatment figures. So both of those therapists really help in that way. So I have meetings with them, but they micromanage the team in that way where they need to.
So how many hours are you actually clinic based?
4 days a week.
Oh, wow. So that's a lot.
So I do 4 days. So I do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and sort of every other Saturday. I'm not in there every Saturday. So it's either 3 days or 5 days or 4 days.
And if we can just touch on it, I know at one point you did have to take time away from the business. So
so I was quite ill for a long time. I had 10 years of doing IVF treatment because I had endometriosis. And then after several rounds of IVF, I finally fell pregnant with my daughter.
Fabulous.
But I was 10 weeks pregnant and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I had to have chemotherapy through my pregnancy. And then Isabella was unfortunately born very early at 27 weeks because the cancer was spreading into my lymph nodes, and the chemo that I was having was a very low dose, and it wasn't, even though I lost all my hair, it wasn't enough to work on the cancer that I had. So then I had a double mastectomy, and Isabella was in the premature unit, and I was still having to have more chemo. So I was out of action probably for about 1.5 years, I'd say. I was still in active treatment when I came back, but not doing the same hours that I was doing before. Yeah.
And do you think that was the stress and toll on your body? Just simply because I see it so many times where someone is working so hard and not listening to signs with their body. And I know, similar to you, we went through several rounds of IVF, and I ended up, like, I stepped away from the business for a little while, but it's quite hard doing that. And then it was like quite hard stepping back in again. But obviously we didn't end up with a family at the end of it. But the thing is that I think your body sometimes gives you signs, and when you're going through IVF and things, you're on an emotional roller coaster, and your hormones are all over the place. And I know just from my personal experience, you know, I was like, because we could get pregnant and then I'd miscarry, but I'd just jump straight back into work again. And it was, part of it was, I think, that it would just blank that out kind of thing. But now when I look back, I just think I really wasn't handling it right. And at one point I just thought, I've just got to take some time out kind of thing. But, you know, I see so many salon owners who end up not listening to their body, and things like heart attacks, strokes in relatively young people in our industry as well.
Yeah, I think, again, we are a culture of givers, you know.
Yes,
we are constantly giving, and we are used to that. We're growing up in that type of industry where all you're doing is giving yourself all day long
and taking energy from other people. I think as well, because clients are coming in, and you end up not only being beauty therapist, but therapist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you remember things about their journey. And sometimes when you leave the clinic, you're still thinking about that client. But I think I got into a habit of just putting myself second, you know, like I was constantly putting my clients first, but also the business first, because the business becomes like a child, but it's not a child like your own child that is growing and that you're nurturing and have this lovely conscious relationship with. It's a child that they're on, you know, what they say goes, you know. So with your business, you're constantly giving to your business and your child and your clients. But I don't think I even realised when I got cancer how much I was still not giving up. I mean, I remember I'd given birth to Isabella on the 23rd of December, and on the 1st of December I'd had a double mastectomy while I was pregnant. Then I had a C-section and had Isabella. So within 3 weeks I had a double mastectomy and a C-section. And on the 26th, I was doing the wages from a hospital bed, you know. And it just didn't seem unusual, because who else could oversee the payroll the way that I could, you know. And, you know, Mark would bring me the bag to the hospital. And I remember other people sitting there thinking, are you mad? And Mark was like, oh, no, this is what she does. This is what we do, you know, because he'd seen me do it for so long as well. It really wasn't until the pandemic when we stopped, and I just thought, oh God, what am I doing? Yeah. Because there was no clients to actually listen to anymore or to give that treatment to anymore. And there was no suppliers on the phone. The business came to a halt. Yeah. And you really just realise, actually, this is normal. This, you know, having time at home with family, going for a walk to the park, you know, having time to read a book or sort out all those drawers that I've meant to be sorted out for ages. And it was the pandemic that really made me not only pivot the business, but pivot my life. We reduced our opening hours. You know, I stopped working silly hours. I had time. I used to do all of my paperwork in the evening, and now I've got this whole Monday to sit down and do it in peace, you know?
Yeah. I think, like I say, I mean, obviously it was a really hard, tough time, you know, in so many ways, but there was so many good things that came out of it. I don't think, you know, there's never ever going to be another opportunity where you could just like stop.
No.
And then reevaluate what you were doing. And I, you know, to say, I can always remember with Beauty Directors Club, we used to have like a 12 noon catch up every day kind of thing.
Really?
Just, and, you know, and it really, really just got us all through it, kind of thing, you know, and everyone still talks about that because it was.
When I met someone the other day, she mentioned that to me. That was from the Beauty Directors Club, and she was talking to me about that. Yeah,
it just seemed like the normal thing to do then, but I think it just kept us all cheering each other on, you know, because there was so much like negativity around and things. And I mean, now it seems like forever ago, and it just feels like, you know, the length of time we were closed, it feels like it was maybe just a few weeks now, doesn't it?
It's amazing collectively that it was 9 months, really.
So you well again?
Yes, I'm well now. It was my 10-year cancer-free anniversary last year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was a great year because I was also 50. Isabella was 10. So we did lots to celebrate. We raised £10,000 in our 10-year anniversary, which was great. So we did lots of events all the way through the year at work and outside of work, which was really nice. And it was lovely to go down to the Cancer Research Unit in South Kensington and present them with the cheque, and to meet some of the researchers that were working on real life projects that they've been working on for years. It was really emotional. So that was lovely. And I stopped some of my medication that I'd been on for 10 years. Not all of it. I've still got another 2 years to go. But I gave up like my tamoxifen, which is a pill that a lot of people are familiar with breast cancer patients. And I feel I'm in a really good place with work. I don't believe in that work-life balance, because I think that sometimes your life needs you more, and you have to go that way. And sometimes my work needs me more, and I have to be pulled in that direction. Yeah. And I think the balance is having good relationships in both of those places where people understand that. And the same with my team, and the same with my husband. You know, my team might have babies or ill parents or situations where they have to take time off, and you have to give that understanding. They've got to go away and do what they've got to do, and then they come back. And the same with my husband. He's self-employed, and sometimes his work needs him. So I believe the balance is in the relationships that you have in those places to give you, you know, the flexibility and not have that guilt to go and do what you need to do, and be present where you need to be present. Yeah. You know, so I feel that I'm in that place now.
And I do feel as well, that's the great thing of like having a great business like you've got, is that you can change the energy in it and move it to you know, I mean, I know during we had a time where we had 2 key members of our team off, so we decided like just to condense everything and just open 4 days a week, and we've carried that on, and that, you know, it just was so. All the clients just adapt, don't they? You know,
absolutely.
And
we're so scared. We're so scared of making those big changes because we think we're going to lose our clients. But they adapt and they change. And sometimes they go away, but they come back again. And you have to make those changes for your business to, you know, be viable to your team. Because, you know, where you're talking about the energy is your staff. Yeah. They're the ones that are walking through to the treatment room. And if they're walking through happy, all the magic is going to happen, you know. But if they're walking through grumpy, that's just, the client's going to pick up on that.
100%. So over the years and everything that you have learned along the way, what would you say are the key things? I want 2 golden nuggets off you. 2 golden nuggets of what?
I would say be leaders in what you do and don't follow trends. It's so easy, isn't it, to just jump on that bandwagon. And now, as I said, more than ever, we're marketed to so much. So are we. There's all these new things coming out. But, you know, be leaders in everything that's in your clinic, and don't get caught down that rabbit hole of all of the trends. That would be the main thing that I would say, because it's so easy to do that. And you can lose so much money, but you can lose your brand identity if you're constantly doing things like that. You know?
It's that shiny penny, isn't it? Like thinking, oh, yeah, that's going to be right. That's going to be right. And I see it happen so many times where someone will go and buy a piece of equipment that, because they've thought they like the idea of it, rather than checking with their team, checking with the clients. And like you say, you do so much research around what you're bringing in. So absolutely. I love that.
And for me, the other thing is the team, you know, just nurture them and, you know, treat them, as you were saying, like about an energy, like look after them. They are an energy that you want them to pass on to your client, that you want them to pass that energy on to the clients, because the more your team are looked after, the more everything, the whole machine just runs smoothly. It really does. And it's not always paying them the higher wages. It's also transparency with your protocols, with your policies in place, having all of that transparent information there for them so that if a problem occurs, they know the avenue that they can go to sit down and talk about it. There's a proper procedure in place that takes place, a time frame to get back to them. All of those things are really important. They're boring things to put into place, but they are so important.
Yeah. And this is why you are a multi-award winning Salon. And I don't want to go without touching on the fact that like you just won yet another award, IAAA Salon of the Year. And it was just fabulous to see what that award. And obviously your team must be very, very proud as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was lovely to be nominated. We've won many awards with the IAAA over the last 19 years, but we haven't actually won any awards with them in the last 10 years with them. And we've always been invited to the award ceremonies. And I always say, I love seeing all the newbies coming in because we need that. We need that in our industry. And it's great to see the excitement. It's great to see the enthusiasm. But yeah, it was lovely to get an email from Lorraine before to say you've been nominated for an award. And actually to win. So that was really, really nice. Yes, it was very proud.
It was a very lovely day. It was a beautiful day. They always have the most stunning venues. They
go above and beyond, don't they?
Oh, I know.
They're a great
brand. I love them as a company. I mean, Tracy and David have both done separate podcasts. Such a great company. And then obviously as well, we have an hour book celebration at their headquarters very soon.
Which I'm really excited about.
Such a beautiful, iconic location.
The scenery is just gorgeous.
Overlooking the Thames and St Paul's. It's gorgeous. Can't wait. It's hopefully going to be a lovely, balmy summer's night. So, Tess, what's next? More of the same, or have you got plans to?
So we've got lots of plans for the next 2 years, apart from our birthday. One of the things that we're doing actually, which is only a small project, but we've decided to bring paper price lists back in. We actually stopped it about 5 years ago in the pandemic, and we were just using the QR codes and directing people. But actually people like a price list.
Yes.
They still like to go home and have a cup of tea and sit down and look through it and keep it in their bag. And we've decided to bring price lists back. Or we're going to call it a service list. The prices aren't going to be on there, but all of our services will be on there. So that's something that we're working on at the moment. We're also renovating our website, which is a huge project because there's so much content on there. So we're doing on that. And I think I spoke to you recently about, looking at grants as well, because I spoke to one of your lovely contacts because I'm really concerned about the new qualifications that the team are going to need. And if it was just me, I think I probably would have been okay. But when you've got 12 staff that you need to invest in for level 4, it's like, where are you going to get that money from? So, that's something that we're working on now seeing if there's any grant resources out there. And if there isn't, how are we going to navigate that? Because you don't just want to think about it in the 11th hour.
Yeah. Great thing is, it does look like there's more funding coming and more grants coming. Hence why I did the event for professional beauty, the round table and everything. So we're finding pots of money all over the place. So that is good, because what tends to happen with the grant funding, they tend to tell the big companies because they have to spend that money. So they don't tend to way down the line to find out. So it's great to
so that's new territory for us, but it's exciting, and I'm sure that there's been some resources in the group that you've put which will really help us a lot. Wow.
This has been absolutely awesome.
Thank you. It's been lovely to be invited. Thank you.
I absolutely love everything you do and the ethos of your business and just how you're just such an inspiration.
Thank you.
We'll put all your details into the show notes and everything. But thank you so much for being a guest.
You're very welcome. It's lovely.
Been fabulous.
Thank you for letting me be here today.